Today I'm going to show you how I dry brine my salmon overnight and then smoke it. The end result is going to be some delicious, smoky, flavorful salmon. So if you're trying to make a good salmon, keep watching. I'm going to show you how I do it. Let's get started. In order to make this a little bit easier, I go to my butcher and I ask them to remove the skin off of the bottom of the salmon. Now, if you're a pro cutter, you could just do this yourself at home. I suck with the knife. I take off way more meat than I need to, so I ask them to do it at the butcher. And then when I get home, I like to rinse off my salmon and then place it on some paper towels, and then I like to get it patted dry. Now we need to make our dry brine mixture. Me personally, I like to do a 4:1 ratio of brown sugar to kosher salt. Here I have 3 cups of brown sugar, and I'm gonna add in 3/4 cup kosher salt. You get our meat paws in here. We're gonna get this all mixed up. Now that your hands are absolutely covered in sugar, go ahead and give them a little lick. Delicious. Now that we have our brown sugar mixture made, you're gonna wanna go ahead and pull one of these out of nowhere. Dump about 1/3 of this onto the bottom. We're gonna make a nice little bed of our brown sugar. Then we are gonna take our salmon pieces. We're gonna get them laid down in here. And hopefully it'll fit. I did not try this out. And of course it's not gonna fit. Man, I look like an idiot. We're gonna make it fit, guys. I'm a mess, you know, I can't help it. So we got all of our salmon in there. We're gonna take the rest and we're gonna sprinkle it over top. I wanna make sure this is good and covered. So now we have our perfect little dish of salmon, top and bottom, covered with that brown sugar mixture. Now I have about 3.5 pounds of salmon here, and I would say this has covered it up beautifully. Then you're gonna take your sticky hands, get it all over your wife's saran wrap. That'll make her real happy. I'm a professional terror, if you didn't notice. Press this on, get it covered up. Now we're gonna set this in our fridge overnight. I'll end up having this in the fridge for about a total of like 10 or 12 hours or something like that. You could do it as little as 8. I personally wouldn't let it go less than that, especially if you have really thick pieces like I do. The thicker the piece you have, the longer you wanna let it go so that it actually becomes sort of like cured like we want it to do with our dry brine. And if you're doing this on your pellet grill at your house, you're just gonna wanna put it on the lowest setting that you possibly can. For most people, it's about 180 degrees. I think mine goes down to 160. We'll figure that out in the morning when I turn it on. So I'm gonna go to bed along with the salmon. I'll see you guys in the morning when we smoke this. Well guys, it is the next day and our salmon is finally ready to go on the smoker. Let me tell you the steps that I took in the morning and leading throughout the day to get it ready to be at this point. So I checked my salmon in the morning and I saw that it wasn't quite where I wanted it to be. If you've done this a few times, you'll know that that juice that comes out ends up turning like very, very dark brown, almost black. And when I checked it, it was like a very light brown. So I could tell that the sugars and the salts had not penetrated fully into that salmon yet. So I decided to let this go for about 16 hours. It's totally okay if you want to brine this all the way up to 24 hours, no big deal at all. Once I hit the 16-hour mark, I took the salmon out and I rinsed it off very thoroughly with cold water to get all that salt and sugar off. You could totally feel the texture of this has totally changed. It's become a little bit more hard instead of real soft and bendy. That's how you know you're ready to go. So after I rinsed it off, I set it on a wire rack. Now this step is crucial and you don't want to skip it. You need to set this salmon on that wire rack for 2 hours at room temperature to develop what's called the pellicle. And don't for one second think that I'm some really smart guy. I actually had no idea what this was until I watched somebody else do this in another video and they explained it to me. Basically, it's a little film that forms on the outer layer of the salmon, and that is what allows it to absorb the smoke flavor after it's gone through this brining process. So I've had it sitting out for 2 hours now on the wire rack. I have my Z grills ready to rock and roll today at 160 degrees, and I'm using some cherry pellets. I'm gonna lay this salmon on the smoker and I'm gonna let it go for 90 minutes. And at that point, we're gonna come out and give it a really awesome glaze with my Texas Peach BBQ sauce. Feel free to do maple syrup, honey, whatever you got that's sweet. But we'll let it sit in that glaze for 30 minutes and then it's gonna be eating time. 30 minutes has passed now. Take a look at this beautiful salmon that we have in here. It's time to go ahead and take it off. We're gonna get to eat. I'm hungry and it's dinner time, and when I eat salmon, I like the drier stuff. My wife probably gonna love this piece, and my kids, because it's a big, thicker stuff. In the center, it's still gonna have a little bit more of that traditional salmon taste where it's flaky and tender, but I wanna show you guys what this is all about. Look at that. These are beautiful. I gotta come up and show you guys. This is what I'm in it for, guys. Right here, this little piece of salmon is so shiny and sticky. It's gonna be super smoked and delicious. I'm gonna go ahead and take a bite. The smoke flavor on here is out of this world. It has such a sweet and salty, kind of infused flavor. I don't even know how to describe it. It has such a rich flavor, and a little bit of that glaze on there. You can hardly taste it through all the sugar that's in here, but it just helps it give it the nice, shiny, sticky outside. I love to eat with my eyes. This is phenomenal. I had a ton of leftover sugar and salt left over in my pan after I cleaned it, so I think it went a little bit overkill. But if you make the mixture that I made, you could probably put 4 or 5 pounds of salmon with that mixture. You know, I tend to go a little bit overboard on things sometimes. But 10 out of 10. I hope you guys try this recipe at home. I hope you make this, share it with your friends and your family. My passion is making great tasting food for my friends and family and teaching you guys how to do that at your home. So you can do me a favor, hit the like button on this video, share it with a friend, subscribe to the channel. We're gonna be putting out a new video every single Friday. And if you didn't know, I have my own barbecue rub and sauces, so go ahead, check out the links down below for those. I hope you guys have an incredible day. I'll see you guys next week. Peace.